Welcome, everybody. I'm Max Farrell. This is DexFXMarkets.com. Today is the 26th of February, 2021, and I'm looking over on my other screen for the date, and it's right in front of me. It's been a week. Let's just say that. It's been a week, and we've had great parts of it happen. That trade won, right, that we looked at earlier. Sorry to...
Yes, it did.
Okay, good.
Nice.
We're increasing so nicely.
That's 2 this morning.
If you're here today, please mute if you do have questions. This is an open forum to a degree. We will discuss a few things. I'm going to try to get through it in the first 40 minutes of you guys being here, and then at the end, ask questions as much as you want, and I will stay to answer all of your questions.
Right.
Or somebody on the panel will be here to do so.
There you go. That sounds like an accomplishment.
Okay, let's find out who that is.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, let me know how you're feeling later, and if you could get some rest still and get back to normal.
I feel like I want to find
All
out
right,
how
cool.
this is going to play
Have a
out.
good day. Bye.
Mute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. If you're here, make sure that you're muted. And I've allowed you to unmute yourself if you need to. That's especially also with the panelists here. I'll get or make you a co-host there. Chris, just give me a second as we clean up our stuff here. Paul's co-host. Thor. You can co-host all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. Let's get started into what we were about to do here. All right. So I do apologize. A little late start. I'm Max Farrell. This is DexFXMarkets.com. We've covered that. Today is the 26th of February, 2021. And today's agenda that we're going to be talking about is just a few things. The last week over with the Dex Delta signals we're going to be talking about. We're also going to be talking about the 90 days of tracking that we're doing, that we're in the beginning stages of again. Trading with auto, we're going to be talking about some small things and some advices that we're going to be giving today for that. Trading with the Dex Atomics, OTM, standing for out of the monies. The Zedon auto closeout system that we're going to be talking about pretty close to the end, and then I'll give you my final words. And then you can open up and ask as many questions as you deem necessary. I did an invite, so this wasn't just in our Discord family party in there, in our system, in our groups in there, to all the Discord members, but to anybody that was on the network of DexFX Markets. And some of you may have opted out of the email system for our program, and you showed up here anyway. That's okay. I made the mistake this morning. I forgot to filter the list that was going out. It gave me a warning, and I inadvertently hit the go ahead and send anyway button. So I do apologize. If you're here and you want to be a part of this company, basically, if you're here, you want to hear what's going on, but don't feel like it's a necessity for you to be here if you had already opted out, if it's not something you wanted to do and you're just here to, see how we're doing. That's completely fine. You can stay if you'd like. But for those that are here that really want to make something of this, please, at the end of this, I'm going to be making some offers for some people to be able to really take this to the next level for yourself. We have battled for many months to make this all work, and that's all we're here for, is the positivity of this process, to try to be transparent as much as we possibly can, and of course, honest and upfront. All right, so let's get right into it. The last week in the Dex Delta signals, we have worked on the data itself was worked on last week, at the end of last week. And Ron and Jerry and David, who are in that, Ron being in charge of that division, have worked very hard on compiling the data, making sure that it was all set up right, and that there was a set of signals for us to be able to utilize. We had a slow start in the very beginning. And again, the amount of signals that you should be using this isn't about, I can throw 1,000 signals down and I want to make, $10,000 a week. This isn't about making developments in your strategy that has 5,000 signals in it. We have learned one important lesson over the years, and that is simply less is more. This is the entire intention behind the phrase and equation CVG, the ultimate. So patience plus discipline plus volume equals consistency plus volume equals goal. So in order for us to be able to get to that consistency, we have to attribute one factor, and that's patience and discipline. As we use patience and discipline to find out which pairs traded the best, not just what ones did okay, and let's just add a whole bunch. When we first started doing the Dex Delta signals, there was probably maybe 100 to 120 signals a day that we're firing, maybe 150. And we slowly cut out the stragglers. We slowly set ourselves some parameters. We wanted pairs to be able to do over a period of 90 days a certain parameter we wanted to stay with. That's priority at the moment. We wanted to set the levels of success for each one of those pairs at a certain level. So if it fell below, we needed to create a control that was always testing all of our pattern. We have a specific pattern we're trading right now, which has about 40 alerts in it. And that 40 alerts is always trading, is always setting out the signals to our special control system that checks and verifies that those signals are still firing at a good level. And each week, Ron and Jerry and David will go through those and make sure that those levels are being put into the public facing signals, right? So we have one set that is the control, right? And this is constantly in check and checking the system. Then we have another system that is the public facing side, right? Excuse me, I don't have my pen with me today, so it's one of these things again. All right. And so if let's just say there's 40 signals that are in here, and then one falls below the parameters we set. So public facing would be, you would have 39 alerts that would be public facing. And in some cases, it wouldn't be more than the 40 or 42, whatever it has come out to be, but each week we'll check. Now, sometimes that may come back on and might be doing good and everything's great, but then all of a sudden the next week another one falls off or it comes back on. But that's what we're doing right now. Manually, what we're doing is checking the control over the forward public facing side. And this is really important for everybody to know, is that we take that that job to its next level here pretty soon. And that job from manual is going to automated. Now that's a system that's hidden behind the product. It's not in ZDON. It's not in the Dex Atomics system. Okay. That's a separate program and a network that we're building to be able to do that job that Ron and Jerry and David are doing, and making sure that that job is done to the highest level and constantly checking. Now, this takes time. In order to get the data that we need for those things to happen, we need to create systems and programs that will provide us data over a period of time. So it's not just about, what's today's signals? Oh, that one lost. Let's take that one off. It doesn't work that way. Every signal alert that we have has a success rate over 90 days. Okay. And of course, I'm going to write like a 2-year-old here, but you get it. It's over 90 days. It's not on a daily basis. So if you see a signal that fires that could have won at a medium level, or could have won at a low level, and why, Max, why did you do that and not do the medium level? I would have won at that point. I'm sorry. The success rate of what we have is 70+% when it comes to the signal. We're looking at a certain amount of alerts that are at a certain rate. For every percentage of win, there's a percentage of loss. So please keep that in mind as we move forward into the next system. The 90 days of tracking happens over that, of course, 13-week period. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably seen on the website that there was this this new Dex Delta Signals results page. And when you first pop into it, you get sent to this page, 13-week totals. This isn't going to mean next week is going to be, say, 14-week totals. This is what we refer to as the 13-week. And that's the parameter we use to set to see how well the pattern is working. There are 4 levels, if you will, of that pattern. So L1 pattern over the 13-week established to this level on the buy-sell side. And this is important to know because we can then isolate certain patterns that happen at certain times, like seeing that a period, like during a particular week, what pairs do well and what pairs don't. Usually the Euro USD is the prima donna pair that works out very well all week long. And in some cases, only in some, it rarely loses during certain periods of time. But over a 13-week period, we still have to check to make sure that that value is pretty strong. We only have one pair on one direction that is doing below standards, which this isn't the control value yet, okay? This is still the public-facing side. So on the control value, those numbers are different, and we're keeping that hidden from the public because that's all of our hard work that we're putting in. What we're committing to is giving you that 13-week data, what we refer to as forward data, which means that it's the stuff that we're actually trading. There is some data in this for now, but in 12 weeks from now or 11 weeks from now, it'll all be forward facing. We'll be using no back testing data. We do have some back testing data in this right now, but we've augmented it with percentage control. If you want to know how well we're doing during a week at any time, this is what we have a system in there trading. Now, on occasion, you will have maybe 1 trade a week or 2 trades every once in a while that may sneak in on demo and not on live. I have 2 systems running. I have 1 live and I have 1 demo. For me personally, that I test, I have a Zedon that trades automatically for both, and I have no indifference whatsoever. So some people have it, some people don't. I don't know why. There's some speculation in there, but we'll talk about that in another video. So if you see this stuff out there on the weeks, this is what we're testing with the data. Like from last week, we had we had $254 profit margin. This week we'll probably hit pretty close to well, we haven't updated the charts.
Updated, it's just not updating on your sheet, but we're at a 4.6 delta, 198, 11 wins,
198.
5 losses.
Sweet. Thanks, buddy. That was Jerry. Master. There it is. 198, 4.5. Looking pretty good. Anything pop up here? We got 1 order on right now. 1 order that's coming on right now, but it's not positioned. It hasn't been put in. We have the signal on. Looks pretty, what's that? 9.91. So about 6 pips off. All right. So with that said, you have a lot more information now. Over that 90-day period, as we see how well things will be tracking, we'll have stuff come on and off. And we're not going to tell you what it is, what's coming off and on, because a few things that we need to talk about here is trading with auto versus manually. And there is some speculation and some thoughts about, do you save more time? Do you save more money? Which one's which? And you can comprise a plan that is exactly the same amount of time and money on auto that it is manual. You can put together a plan that you could spend a lot less time manual over auto. But what you need to ask yourself is, what is your goal? Not of money, but participation into the system that you want to design here. And your plan might be different. And why doesn't one plan for all work? Well, because some people don't have the same amount of time as others. If I were to tell you that you can make $6,000 a month if you did these 7 things, I'm pretty sure that every single one of you in this room would have a different way to do it. You know, when they say all results may vary, they say that for a reason, because nobody's going to do it exactly the same as everybody else. You all don't have the same balance. You all don't have the same time. You all don't have the same job. If you all worked for me, you'd be working for home and you'd be doing whatever, but you'd be doing something different, every single one of you. Would still kind of make it your own. You would still make it your own time. If all of you worked at the same corporation, you'd all have your own time periods of when you could and when you couldn't. You got some have kids, some are retired, what have you. So first, before you figure out what your goal is, money, what you want from it from money, if you're here, then you need to figure out what is it that you want to be able to participate into this process, and we can fit that plan around you. That means that you're going to have to meet with us and talk to us and let us know. You don't come into the room and say things like, well, Max, you're putting out these signals. Why aren't they working for me? This person got this amount of money. How come I can't have that? What's David doing over what this person's doing? We had that happen to quite a few. And let me give you a word of warning. The statement of the grass is always greener on the other side is because that person's taking care of it. Why is David more successful than some? Because he puts a lot of time. He put a lot of time in before he even started live. He put a lot of time. It doesn't mean he's better than any of you. It doesn't mean that he has a better grasp of it, other than he sort of does have a little bit better grasp of it than most, but he understands the psychological values behind the system as well. And it's not just about coming in and doing one thing repetitively over and over and over again every day. You do have to battle that opportunity where greed sets in or fear of missing out sets in. You got to look at the processes themselves from manual versus auto. You may want to be more in control. Let me ask you a question. Anybody here who's been in here trading this automated and you got your ZDON all set up? It's perfect. It's set up perfect. You got your system on, your L1. You've chosen, I'm only going to trade on the L1s. I'm only going to trade L1 systems or maybe a pair, single pair. And because the signals are so good, I'm going to do well. And then all of a sudden you're into a trade. You're like, all right, I'm finally into a trade. I waited all day and now I'm here. It's on the trade. You're trading auto, remember? Then all of a sudden that pair loses. You go, man, what did I do wrong? What happened? Why'd that not work? The signals are supposed to be good. I lost that trade. Let me go look. Oh, it should have been medium one. That one was set at high risk. This one should have been medium risk, and that would have won then. I alluded to this in the beginning. How many of you have gone in and looked at your numbers and said, oh, I lost Euro USD last week, so I'm not going to trade Euro USD. And you augment the deal. How many of you have looked at a trade that's already on and you're fretting it? You're worried about it. You're looking at that system in there on the automation system and saying, man, I got a trade on. I'm going to lose 55 bucks. Oh my God, I'm going to lose $55 right here. Oh, look at that. I lost $55. This system's not working. You're making determinations in micro minutes and minutes, microseconds and minutes. You're looking at the pair and you're watching that pair rise up and down. You're looking at if you look at a pair and you see a ticking time bomb of up and downs, and you're watching that pair and your anticipation levels and your anxiety levels raise and decrease with every tick, you're too damn close. If you're here to trade auto, if you're here to trade the system, you need to set yourself into one frame of mind. And that is, you need to have enough money in your account for you not to worry about a win or a loss. You need to get psychologically based. The equation of P plus D, patience and discipline, take on a different mentality. Be patient. When I say this in the regular term, I say be patient enough to find the trigger and disciplines to be able to pull that trigger when it shows itself, right? Like a sniper would. In your case with trading with auto is to be patient enough to let it do its job and disciplined enough to not frickin' touch it, to not get in front of it, to not do better. Because let me ask you a question. If you look at this system and you go, Max, the auto system, I could have done way better. Guess what, folks? Trade with the Dex Atomics. Get in or improve it. Go do it. You may be able to walk into the Dex Atomic, isolate a few variables, and find a perfect time between 11 and 1500 or 12 and 1500 and say, okay, that's the time I'm going to trade. Go in and trade and make it happen. In order to do so, you need to learn more about the inputs and variables. You need to learn more about your alert setups and how to put that stuff over there. Get your ZDON set up with the personal signal side of it. You may even need to learn to look left a little bit and learn about the support and resistance areas and how to apply certain levels of movement of the market following the trend. Looking at the different hill boxes that you can apply, low, medium, and high, and maybe even outside that parameter. There's a whole depth of system analysis that you can do with this system that you can't do with anybody else's. And I say that not because I think we're better than everybody. There's some great systems out there. But I think for what you have to be able to trade Nadex and look at this process and what we're doing with the data that we have right now coming from Spot Forex, we are kicking its ass. And what gets better than this? Being able to watch this system flourish and continue to build on the pattern, the data, the signal availability, all of it, and watch it manifest itself into profit, not just in your account, but in many, many, many others. If you're here, you've either in the system, you've known us for a while, you've been here for a while, you know that this is where we wanted to be all this time, no matter what it was, from StepBot, DexBot, all the other things. We've always really focused. Our daily signals were all about the intrusion of pullback, all that stuff. But now this is the true analysis and true process of trading on Nadex, on the Forex binaries. We're not talking about indices or commodities or pullbacks, snapbacks, whatever else they have. This is the one program we've always stayed consistent on. And now that we're into the Dex Atomic range of this, and now using the Dex Atomics to really start doing things, it's not, I keep hitting the page on this, I apologize, I'm teasing you guys. So if you feel you can do better at that, which you probably could, auto is not set up for a mass push of make every single signal work as of right now. The Dex Delta Signals is set up for the process to be able to give you some inventory to be able to work with. Because if we jump back over to Dex here, and let's just look at this 13-week total for a second. This 13-week total is set, has some bias in it, of course, simulated data between back testing. And when we back test, we really back test. We're looking at every single hour and that particular pair firing during that hour. So it becomes a very utilized and accurate system. If you guys can see, you guys can also see my calculator, right? That's on here too.
Yeah,
sure.
you're good.
Okay. So I want you to look at this value, $11,855. This is over 13 weeks. It's easy to figure out. What would your per week be at that point? Oops, sorry. 1,855 divided by 13. About $911 a week at that point. Actually, no, yeah, about $911 a week. Let's say $912. Let's just say $900. Now that's a week. If I wanted to look at over a particular, what can I be making a month? Well, the average month is what, 4.3? Let's say 900 times 4.3. That's what you could be making over a month. What you could be making doesn't mean you're going to, because we're working with data from previous histories. Once we get into the forward-facing data or the forward testing data, then we'll know, we'll have a much more utilized process here, because it'll tell us exactly what we'll be making. Not exactly, but within reason, a certain percentage each week and each month. But let's just say that that's a reality. Let's just say we'll break that even down to $3,500 a month. For some of you, that's your goal that you're trying to get per month. for some of you. Now, the last couple of weeks, we have broken about 250, right around that 200 to 250 area. And we'll probably get pretty close to that today if we get another couple of trades on. If not, maybe 200. But let's just say that we say, that's a lot of money. Let's just say we break this down to a little bit more closer to the vest of say, let's just pretend that it's $200 a week that you're able to make. $200 a week. That's per one contract. We've always said this. CVG. That's the true mentality, is to find consistency. And let's just say the consistency level is 200. And then you times that by 4.3. That's only $860 a month. And I have had some people who've been with me for a little while make statements to that various that, oh, you know, Max, that's not a lot of money for me. And I think we need to get more volume in trading. And they misunderstand what the volume is. The volume is not more trades. The volume is not more signals. The volume is not more time. The volume is simply contracts. Because what does it take to trade one more contract in the system? You have to have your balance to be able to meet that, of course. And if you don't, then you shouldn't be trading. But how do you turn that into 1,720? By simply adding another contract. You've doubled your money. You've doubled your money just with a simple keystroke. Now, of course, you don't have to put more extra work in. And for those of you that start trading multiple contracts, there's an incremental crawl process that you should be paying attention to. Just because you've got 10 grand that's sitting in your bank account at home doesn't mean you should go to the account and start chucking money all over the place. It's foolish. We teach you how to psychologically battle that process of greed with the incremental crawl. Impatience will fuel greediness. And say that again. Impatience will fuel greediness. And that greediness is your enemy when it comes to this process. Used to have people say all the time, Max, if you got a 90% success rate, that means that if it loses the next 9 trades, I can play. Let's not be foolish. Take away the emotional state of you trading, and if you're trading in auto format, just let the system do what it does. Give yourself the 13 weeks. Give yourself that 90 days and tell me if you're above and below. And then how could you add volume to hit your goal? If you can hit your goal using this system, let's just say $200, what's your goal? So if my goal was, say, $4,000 a month, I'm trading 200 times 4.3, that's 860 a month. 4,000 divided by 860, that's about 5 contracts that I need to be trading each time. See, so it's simple math to figure out how much you need to be able to get to your goal. Now, the Dex Delta signals, the programs, everything that we've been dealing with in the monies and close to at the money as possible. Our risk to reward ratio is 1.27 to 1. Of course, we always get these people who are like, well, Max, how do I get to 50-50 or 1 to 1 or 2 to 1 or 1 to 2? I think it's Howard's right. I always seem to get it backwards for some reason, especially today. But the idea of OTM trades, ta-da, I finally get to hit it. There he goes. Out of the money trading. And what does this mean? Well, it means that if you get a price for a particular trade and that level is set to here and you have a buy and that pair falls below that price, that statement, this is now considered out of the money. Right? Because remember, the expiry is here, it has to be above. So when it's above and it's going for you, it's in the money. When it's down below, it's out of the money. Well, the market price value goes opposite when it's out of the money. That means that if the profit margin that you're playing with is $45 up here and a risk of 55, down here, it could be opposite. The risk value would be a lot less to the profit margin. So why couldn't you buy trades that were down here once they got here? Well, you could, but it's hard to see what the success rate is of a pair coming down and then popping back out. I'd like to know what the success rate is of that, Max, because should I get in? How could you figure that out? Well, guess what? You can now. When we first started really getting heavy into Dex Atomics, right before we actually built the first Dex, when we built the first Dex Atomic, which was on the website, and we were using that protocol, I had an outside programmer helping me design the indicator in the program. And he always kept everything close to the vest because, you know, programmers are kind of like that, right? They're a little bit worried sometimes of who has their indicators and what they're doing. I built the pattern and he just built the indicator around it. When he disappeared, we speculate that he passed away, or by very harsh means. When we found that out, there was no way that at that time I knew how to program. I programmed many things, but I had to relearn a completely different language to do so. And it's been troublesome over the past couple of months because there's a lot of things that I'm doing now that are way beyond my level of comfortableness. But now I'm starting to get the hang of it, just like with anything else when you do it a lot. So now it's time to introduce the beginning part of a new friend. Excuse me for a second. And right here. And this is our new friend. This is an update, and I'll just kind of show you that it's all down here. Okay. This is the only way I can edit into a document, and then I have to come in here and put it all in. The Dex Atomic OTM. Now, it's still going to be just a Dex Atomics, okay? This is just a naming solution that I have in my system that I'm doing. But I want you to see what's on the screen. If you guys can see the screen, okay. Okay. What we had earlier happen is that we had this particular pair may not have fired on our system. We may not have happened, but this in the USD CHF. The 10 to an 11 o'clock trade. Okay. And what I've done is that I've broken down the variance to be between 10 and 11. So that's the only thing that's showing. Okay. And so this signal fired. It gave us a level of a medium in this particular case because I selected medium. Right. I could select high risk. And boom, there we go. Okay. We want to know, and it looks like this trade had won, right? Because it was a sell. It came out, was out of the money, got picked up because it's out of the money, right? And then finished off in the money. Now, if I see that happen, in this particular case, we're only going to be using this part of here for analysis when an out of the money happens for now. But in a minute, I'll tell you what's going to happen the next couple of weeks. So if you get a trade that goes OTM out of the money, you can say, all right, I'm going to come my USD CHF. Let's just pretend that this trade just happened. Sorry, it's good. So let's just pretend like this trade happened. In fact, we don't need to pretend. We could do what? We can do a replay. Right? Do a replay. Boom. Why isn't it working? Oh, did I miss it? My system is acting weird. Am I missing something here? Ah, there it is. Okay. And I'm going to place tell you, my computer's acting up right now. Can you all still hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're
good.
good,
Volume's
Max. You're good.
good. We got your screen.
Okay, good, good. All right, there we go. So let's just watch this as it unfolds. There's the first signal that pops over. There's the first part of it. And you're like, all right, everything's good. I'm in OTM. I have a signal on. I probably got just picked up, but then something happened here on the tail. You'll see 90, 60, and it went to 90, 61 it punched in. Okay. Mostly because I'm into this particular process right there. So if I were to do the 0.1 or the 1 in there, this would show me a 45-65 variable that if the pair got in to that point, it would show this as a trade that it comes in. And if I hit play again, there we go. There's the little short box that shows up on a trade that says that it's been activated. You see? Why? Because it came within 1 pip of the process. But now, oh my God, we're way out. We're out of the money. 90-60, 90-68. That's 8 pips. So if here it's 45-55, what do you think the margin is up here? What do you think that market value is of that process on this buy? Five pips or more out. Anybody have a speculation? Paul, Thor, David? Say like $75?
Yeah, around there.
25.75, right?
25.75, yeah, right around that, 5 and above. So 25.75 means that you're risking $25 to make $75. What is the success rate you need? What is the success value that you need for this to be a good decision to make? You need to have, this has to have at least 26% success or more to make this a good trade for me to use an OTM variable to come down. Right? Because it's kind of funny like that. Nedex is that $100, the market value being at, 75 or at 45-65, you just need to have a 56% success rate to break even. Yeah, it works. Pushes over. The math is easy. So how do I figure that out? Well, I can simply do this. Before, you could only use positive numbers. You couldn't use negative numbers. Simply enough, I was able to make this a negative number, and I could say -6 and hit OK. Now, in this particular case, if I have my filter, oh, it's -8 there, so let's just say -8. Right? We're still kind of upside down on that process, right? At 25-55, we're sitting at 20. So this one may not be the best one to get into, but you can start to see that, hey, this happens quite a bit. And you got 20%. So as long as you're sitting below $20 for risk, this might be a pretty good trade to be able to get into. But in this particular case, maybe not. The idea is to watch how many times does that value trade out of that. And does it work? And if you buy in when a particular pair hits 1 pip, you're now at least 50-50. Maybe even a little bit more. At 2 pips, you're probably 45-55 the opposite direction. Make sense? So now you could start seeing the values there. And that just happens on sells, but it also happens on buys as well. See if we can find one here. That one was close. But here, this one's close here. And that's only still sitting at 1 level. I mean, that was only the medium side of it. What if I hit high risk? This is the one that I would be very interested in seeing what the variable is at. How many times does it pop out on high risk? This is at this particular time of day, of course. You could create and stretch that variable out even further by doing all the time. And asking yourself, how many times does it go out of the pocket? Let's say 2 pips. This is over an entire day for the USD CHF, and this may not be the best pair to have in firing for that. And you can isolate those variables at particular times. My bet would be sitting on a medium risk. Would probably give us the, nope, I guess it didn't. Long and short side. And again, I'm doing this live. Since I've made the program, this is the first time that I've tested it in a live capacity like this. Okay. So there's a lot of variables there to consider as the trades begin to happen. Now, the fun part is that you can see this value easily and quickly just at a couple keystrokes. If you have a pair that's going out, are you manual traders? If you get OTM happening, you can look to see how many times does that happen, and you can isolate it down to a day. Like if it happens on a particular day, how many times on a Friday that we know. There's a couple of days that seem to have an effect on a week. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, even Sundays, Monday mornings, Friday afternoons, or Wednesday afternoons and Fridays all have like this day of the week kind of attitude, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays kind of blasé. If we can all agree with that, then you can simply say, okay, I'm only going to trade Friday with this process and see what happens. I'm only going to trade between a particular time in the morning and night, right? Because it doesn't go to, it goes to 1700 there, but it's not after 1900. So you don't get a lot of information. I'm only going to trade when it hits -4. Okay, to get the alert. But this won't give you an alert. You can't set up an alert with an OTM. Like, hey, when it goes out, send me an alert yet. We will be doing that. We're going to have a little button you'll press to alert me when it goes OTM. And we'll have an OTM system for that process. But again, that's for the future. That's for all you guys who want to play more of the market of having a lot less risk than anything else. Right? Because if you really just want to play OTM with what you have right now, set this to 0. Also, that was also done with everything unvalidated above or below. You just have to use the -1 process when you're doing that. Did that freak it out? I think it did. Okay, so there's a lot to say for this OTM process. This is only one part of it that we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks. I took a little bit extra time on that one. So we're going to, there's the OTM. All right, let me get this bar up out of here. Now, we talked about the ZDON. The ZDON is not a bot. It is the connection system within the program of our network that uses the DEX Delta signals. It uses a connection between manually setting those DEX Delta signals or auto. It also takes personal signals, and it also takes 2-hour signals that we're contemplating on possibly moving out. We're, again, like I said a couple of weeks ago, don't be trading the 2-hour signals because they're in test. They're in lieu of being tested at different procedures and stuff like that. So again, whether they're doing good or not doing good is irrelevant. What it is that we're looking to 97. Okay, that's close. Sorry, keep going back to the final words. The ZDON in an auto capacity has 41 licenses left, and those licenses we've all kept for those people that are inside our system. If you are a founder and bought in, you will have the availability to not have to pay the deposit or the membership fees. But anything that's in our company that costs us utility costs, such as keeping customer service on and the servers and all the data division stuff, everything from there. Basically, the membership fees pay for everything that has been done, where the utility fees pay for everything for the future, and those costs are very low. If you are a founder or lifetime member, we will work with you to make those prices very low, but there will be something to pay. When we first started selling the lifetime memberships, we said this a long time ago that it's almost like having it free for life. And it is. But if those things cost us money as a company to run, to keep maintained, we have to talk about how do we turn that over to the clientele as well. You will be making money with this. You will be. I am right now. I have my personal account. My wife has her account on. I'm making a little bit more than my wife, and she's mad about that, but that's okay. But the point is that the Zedon has about 41 or 42. I think we sold one this morning. I can't remember if he ended up buying in or not this morning. But we have about 40, let's just say a total of 40 at the most. And if that's the case, when we sell out of those 40 for the auto, we're not selling, and this isn't a scarcity scam thing either, guys. We decided this many moons ago because we don't want to inundate Nadex with 2 or 3, 4, 500 people in there connecting all with the same signal going over, right? So there's only a certain amount of automation that I want to commit to. Now, what we do have unlimited on is the Zedon manual and the Dexatomics system. Those, if you want to trade those, you don't need to bother with having auto. You only want to trade when you see this thing come on and you want to send yourself alerts and do all that stuff. Completely usable on a semi-auto system with very high profits. But you got to be able to put the time in. Okay, so they're going to go quick. Starting March 1st, we're putting it out to the public. So that's not you guys. You know, you guys have your opportunities. And again, I'm not going to throw up some sort of sales pitch. You buy now, you get 2, and all that kind of stuff. If you decide that you want to do this and you want to be able to, you want to be able to do that. If you can't afford it yet and you want to hold the position, well, you can put a small deposit down. You can create with, no monthly until you're ready to start using it or what have you. Okay. But it's non-refundable at that point because we're pushing this thing to work. And the only way it won't work now is that if you don't work it. All right. So if you want to get in and you can't afford it, or there's something else you got to ask yourself, are you able to afford to be able to trade? If you can afford the tool to make it happen, let's jump in and make it happen. We have people waiting for you. We have the availability to help you get it set up and get it put in the proper spots and make all that stuff happen. And if you've met with Thor or myself or others, then you know that we're sincere in helping you become successful. In final words, and I'll make this quick so we can get to answering questions. This has been a run, let me tell you. If it wasn't for the people that are in this room that have stayed with us, worked with us, got through all the nightmare of things that happen out there, no matter how hard we work, there's always somebody out there trying to squish us down. There's always somebody trying to make it not right or real. We've also pulled things from our shelves because we knew that they were being manipulated by the market. StepBot, DexBot. I could easily continue. And by the way, those systems still work. You just have to be able to pay attention to when those markers show their ugly heads, that you know when to pull out and take a small loss instead of just keeping it on and fighting through the battle. You got to know what that looks like. And when you do recognize it, it's sickening. So they still do work. But I pulled myself from that process because I did not want to be dealing with a company that could manipulate their process to make us physically lose. Nadex, being the exchange it is, cannot do that to a degree without rearing their ugly head. See, the overseas brokers, even the U.S. brokers here, they manipulate it in margin and spread. They play that game. But for us, with Nadex, there's different rules with Nadex. So we've worked hard. Chris, myself, Jerry, Ron, David, Paul, Thor, Vivian, all the partners of the company, the people that are here. Shaman, one of our new partners. We're prepared to do whatever it takes to make this thing work. And it is working now. Now we've created our consistency. In our world, consistency plus volume equals gold means something different the consistency of the overall package of our system. Can we house a lot of people? Can we make it work? Can the systems work? Can they make money for people? Now we just need to add more volume. And what's volume to us? It's more people. And don't worry, the auto system is going to be there. It will grow. We'll see that we're just a little gopher going down the hill or going down the river saying, raise the drawbridge. We might just be so overconfident of ourselves that we need a little bit of humility. Like, hey, we're not really going to affect a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're just kind of, we're the one drop of the bucket. And then we just may open it up completely and let everybody trade with it. We'll have certain things we do. I will tell you right now that our data is getting sharper, and not just sharper by the week and the month now, but by the minute. And now that we're going to get sharper by the tick here over the next couple of weeks, we have systems that we're putting in place behind the scenes that are not injected into the ZDOM, but actually produce a better result for the DEX Delta signals with actual data coming from places that they should be coming from. Then, oh my God, the implications of that alone are very strong. So as an overview, just real quickly, for those of you that are here using the auto system, have the availability to let it do its job. Give me the 90 days. Give me the however many days are left out of that 90 days to make sure that it works for you. Give that time, put it in. Try not to affect it too many times. If you have it on a laptop and you can't keep your laptop going and you don't want to buy a new laptop, then consider paying the $39 a month over at Dex Web Tools for the VPS. Will help you get all that set up. That way it's always on for you. You turn it on and off once a week. We teach you how to do all that stuff. We help you through that process. We're in Discord. We're responsive. We're here, and we're here to help you. At this time, before I open it up to all of the questions, of anybody who has questions, if any of my partners or any of the co-hosts have any questions or statements to add, please do so now.
Yeah, Max. I just wanted to say I really love being able to jump back and forth, between manual and auto with this system. I'm watching the video and I got it set on auto, and it picked up the USD MXN, and
Right.
it looks like it's going to win on an auto trade.
You
If
said
it
it
does,
now,
it'll
it's
be
5 minutes to go.
Of course, now I've screwed it up.
know, right?
4 minutes
Somebody
to go.
type in.
Over 5 minutes to go. Sorry, anybody who's in it, I apologize. I'll send you a check.
No, don't say that. Don't ever say that online. My God, there's 26 people in this call.
Yeah, we're just trying to cash it, see how much you get out of it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the point being, you can jump back and forth very easily between manual and auto. You look at the signals come across on your Nadex screen, jump over to the trading view, check the levels, check the percentages, jump back and take the trade or not. It's really an amazing system.
Thank you. Well, you helped build it, so. Thanks. Anybody else?
Just a quick one, mate. Does that mean I can scalp out now he said that?
Well, now that he said that, you probably do. It's sitting at 24.75. You'll lose about $20, but that'll be on Thor. No. I see. Here's the thing. When I look at the numbers, like I have it on my system right now, and when I look at the numbers, I don't see the amount on the process. Let me switch this over. I just look at the whether it won or lost. I don't look at the amount of how much was made at that point because that's irrelevant. That's my wife's count as well, and I can't show that. I do apologize. She has it running, and I was checking on it for her at that point. I can't log in, and I can't do certain things. I can log into her remote access, but I can't log into her account. So there is a process that when you begin to look at it, if you're sweating it, like I was saying earlier, then you're too vested, right? If you're overwhelmed with, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent if that loses, then you're overvested. You got me? So you have to try to find that balance in somewhere in between. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, if you need to unmute yourself, just click down in the lower left, click your microphone.
Well, now, if you are a partner and you've come out and you said your thing. Now I want to open this up to the general public. There's 26 people in this room. If you have a question, you can even type it in chat. That's fine. Or if you have anything else that you want to say, any ahas, any questions, please do come out now.
Well, Max,
Hey,
the one
Max.
thing, this is Victor SA.
Go ahead.
The one thing you can do as a fact is that what you can also do part of the day, you can do demo, and you can switch to those who have auto, go into auto if you want to do live or whatever. You can switch back and forth. So you can practice something and then try the next try something else. You can play with this to trust yourself. You don't maybe just do demo all day, then occasionally you do a live just to see what you're doing and build some confidence. You don't have to jump
Right.
all in live or all on auto. You can do it both and still practice.
The beauty part about what Victor just said is that he does this all the time. He has a value that he demos and practices and trains, and at the same time uses some of those things that he's learned into trading live. There's so many different ways that you can use this system to trade in your life. Trading demo isn't about perfecting profit. It's about perfecting your availability to utilize the system. The perfecting profit comes when you start trading live. Okay? Because we all play great Monopoly until we don't, until we're on the losing side of that, and that we get too affected. So when you start playing with live money, and not I say playing, but when you start trading with live money, practice to make sure you get your swing down and do everything, because you're eventually going to have to play in front of real people. You're going to have to play with real money. You're going to have to work that money. And you shouldn't ever be like, should I do that with a live account? The answer is no. Thanks, Victor. I really do appreciate it. By the way, Victor is a very trusted individual here with his analysis. So thank you.
Hey, Max.
Hey, David.
Hey, I just wanted to say that I've been with you for many years, and through it all, you have proved to be a guru to me.
Oh, no.
I've learned, I put a thing in the chat about the whole system here of persistence and discipline equals consistency, and it's just amazing how I've been able to be successful. And I still trade only in my live account. I don't use the ZDAN. ZDAN is great. At one point, I'll probably use it, but I'm just so happy with my results with you, and I thank you very much, sir.
My friend, you are absolutely welcome. It's people like David that it was allowed me, that showed me that a lot of people have showed me that the system works. We have people that have hidden behind a wall of secrecy that I could probably pull out and ask to come out to talk about, not about how great the system is. And I appreciate the name of the guru thing, but for me personally, I see myself as you. I see myself as all of you. You know, that I'm here just doing whatever I can do to make it work for me. It was selfish for me. But it just so happens I couldn't do it alone. So if I was going to do it for me, I was going to do it for other people. By the way, that USD Mexi won. Nice work. Brings us up to over 200 for the week.
On one contract.
Yeah, on one contract, by the way. So if you are here, what David said about, he says in the chat, I've lived the P and D equals C and the C plus V equals G mentality. It really should be making t-shirts with this thing on it. It changed my life. It was the flux capacitor moment of my life. And I'm not making this up. I really do have a whole world that has changed for me, because once I found consistency in anything that I do, I just have to compound it. It's just compounding, but in a certain way that keeps me mentally safe. When I look at money winning and losing, I have no direct psychological attachment to that money at that point. At the end of the month, what is ever over a certain amount in my wife's account or my account, that's what the system pulls over. You heard David. He's one of the most successful traders that we have here in the network, and he doesn't even use ZDON. He used the tools and the systems that we taught him to be able to do so. And we learned that, and we've adjusted systems because of David. That's why David's in the data division, because he has a great understanding of the late time factors and all trades and working with support and resistance areas, everything. All right. Anybody else in that maybe you're not a partner, that have a question or a statement or an aha, anything you need to know? We'd like to try to make these as open as possible. All I ask is that if you do come out, state your name, and because I may not recognize your voice. Hopefully everybody's able to come out.
Hey, Max,
Yes.
I just wanted to say, if anyone has any questions of me, they can reach out to me at any time in private chat. You know, I'm perfectly willing to answer any questions that I can in my capacity.
And this is Jerry. That's in the data division inside
No, it's
Discord. David, I'm
This is
sorry.
David.
Sorry. See, again, I can't. I have other things playing in my earphones at the moment, so I do apologize.
I'm sorry. I should have said it was me.
And we do appreciate that. It's David from the data division. There is a process that we're all here to help as many people as possible. But just remember that one way that David does it doesn't mean that everybody does it that way.
So I've just updated, this is Jerry, Max, I just updated the main sheet. We're now at a 70.59% win rate with a 5.5 delta. So it's very strong.
Everybody turn it off. It's
And,
good for the day. Let's go.
And we're very, to your point, we're very transparent. If you look at the combined totals, that's actual data. And I can tell you, I hope I can say this, is that I'm trading live very similar to what is being posted on the website. And I'm getting every trade in live that we're getting in demo. There's nothing, I have found yet no trade difference.
Well, yeah, and I've seen a few people say, "Oh, I didn't get that Euro Great Britain pound that came over," or what have you. I've seen a couple of times where it was in demo, but it wasn't in live. But then I've also heard, "Oh, yeah, I found out what it was. My live system shut off," or what have you. So I don't want to say it can never happen, because the moment it happens, then everybody's gonna be like, "See, Max lied," but it hasn't happened for me yet.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that's why I mean that I haven't seen any discrepancies, not to say that there ever couldn't be or wouldn't we, but it's certainly not, it would, if it happens, it's an abnormality, it's anomaly, it's not consistent.
Yeah. It's the outlier to the process. Okay, so for the week so far, I'll be also doing an update for the week on once we close out here after 3 o'clock. It'll be a video to go out, probably go out later this evening. If we start hitting the same number, and if you've noticed, guys, the pattern's getting kind of the same here, right? So within a certain reason, by the end of the week, you know, what happened the week before with forward data, 254. This week we're 245. If we hit another trade on, we may break that week, you know, and then if we continue on with that, where does that leave us? Remember, consistency plus the volume equals goal. And that's all you have to remember. Put it everywhere you have. If you're here and you're watching this video and you're with us in this room right now, wow, I'm seeing some names in here I haven't seen in a very long time. If you're in here right now, some of you know who you are. And if you're here to get back in and jump with us, I'm more than willing to discuss whatever terms and whatever to do to help you get to that point. We've worked very hard to be where we're at right now. My partners and I have worked very hard to be here. And we're not going anywhere. In fact, we're taking steps to do things here over the next couple of months as we create our next part of our corporation to investigate whether or not we go IPO or we stay as a private organization. Will be a debate that myself and the board members, the newly founded board members, about 12, 13 people that will be making decisions over the next several months to shape the future of this program and this company. This is all we've ever wanted to do. We started with a very grassroots campaign, and a lot of you were able to help. You jumped in and you made stuff happen. I'm willing to work out with anything that we're going to be doing. And by the way, I don't forget those that have come before us, the founders that are here or not here or who've decided to move on or do what have you. I will involve all of you at that point for what you have done in the beginning. You always have. So I appreciate your time. If nobody else has anything else, last call for comments, statements. Then let me say thank you to you all for a great week. I'll be calling some of you partners for you partners that have worked at Data Division. Thank you so much. For everybody else who's doing customer service and helping those in Discord, thank you. For you clients that are here that are paying your way and being a part of this network, thank you as well. You have made this available for us to make it profitable for you. So in turn, you've done it a service to us as we are doing a service for you. I'm Max Farrow. This is DexFXMarkets.com. We'll see you next week for this update meeting. We're going to do this every Friday at 12 noon. I look forward to seeing you all inside. And as always, trade well.